Welcome back, everyone, to On the Perf podcast. It is shooting season, and we have been shooting. Today's episode, of course, as always, brought to you by Atlas Gunworks. Get asked all the time about guns that aren't working. When will my orders ship? Will my orders ship at all? About all kinds of wide-body 1911s. Nobody ever asks me about that about Atlas guns, though. It's always other companies, and that should be assigned to the rest of you folks. You buy the gun, it works, it ships when they say it's going to ship. You happy. Gary's of the day. I think we both have Gary's this time.
Yeah, we do.
My Gary of the day is gerrymandering with the shooting order. Okay?
Oh.
People.
Oh, God.
People.
Yes.
Except for a small club match. Except for a small club match where there is less than, well, if there's only a handful of stages and you're all friends, whatnot, the only acceptable shooting order is alphabetical. You can pick ascending to descending, first name, last name. The shooting order is alphabetical, and at every stage, you will be taking the person that went first and putting them on the bottom, and so on and so on and so forth. If you need to deviate from this because you're sharing gear or you're videoing for each other or whatever your reason might be, first understand that you're kind of that guy. And so to make up for being that guy, you're going to write down the special order that you all came up with, and you're going to hand it to the RO on every stage. You're not going to explain it to him. You're going to hand him a piece of paper and say, this is our order. I could call some of you out right now. I'm not gonna. But, and then when it's a debate of who went first, like, oh, I went first last time or whatever, who goes first this time, or are we dropping one, or are we dropping two? No, you're dropping one. Unless it's a really small match, then it's okay to drop two, because that allows you to sink deeper into the order. But people, my brothers in Christ, the shooting order is alphabetical. There are a few variations, but those are the options. They're the only options. And if not, you are the Gary of the day. Riser, what do you got?
So my Gary of the day is something that I did at this match. So I am in a hotel room in Charlotte post the Tarheel 3-gun challenge, which I appreciate them calling it the 3-gun challenge as opposed to 3-gun championship, because as our spirit animal, Dave Hartman, always said, if everything is a championship, then nothing is a championship. My Gary of the day is something that I did on one of the shotgun stages where I thought I might need a couple rounds. It is doing something on the clock that you've never done before in practice. Always a bad idea. So I barneyed and then loaded to a full mag with...
It was a 20, wasn't it?
What's that?
You barneyed into a 20, didn't you?
I barneyed into a 21.
Yep.
And then, because of the way this stage was laid out, the only stage in the match which I didn't like. I liked 7 out of 8 stages, and I hated one of them. It was this stage. It was a box-to-box-to-box, and you were only allowed to load while moving boxes. And it was like 40 shotgun targets, and the dump area was in a very inconvenient place where basically you had, in open division, to not have like a 60% stage, you had to shoot it in 2 boxes. So you had to count on a couple of doubles and shoot basically clean, and you needed all the rounds. And so I barneyed and then loaded to a 21, shot it dry, which I never do on purpose except for right here, and then I loaded into another 21. Guess what both of those mags did? Both of those mags, bang, click, and then I racked out a live round, clearing a malfunction, so I gained absolutely nothing and had to clear 2 malfunctions. and I did make it. I did make it out in 2 boxes, literally running dry on the last target. So, yeah.
Did you see the live round fall out in super slow mo?
Yes.
Like you saw
Yes,
it just
I did.
twirl to the ground, just like Hans in the Christmas movie. Not Braveheart.
Oh, falling out of the building. Yes.
Yeah.
The Christmas movie, not Braveheart. Yeah.
The one
not a Christmas
with
movie,
Bruce
but you know what it
Willis.
is.
The Bruce Willis movie.
Die Hard, dude.
Die Hard,
The
damn it.
Christmas movie.
Yeah, the Christmas movie.
Yes, I did. And also, I have a great video of me afterwards. The RO was like, I just want to listen to audio of you hot mic'd for a whole match, because I was talking to myself for the entire shotgun section because I knew this was a terrible idea. So I kept talking to the shotgun, like, please run. Then we'd be like, click and be like, no, fuck, not like that. Please run. And so,
Dude, that thing's Russian. You can't whisper soft nothings to it and think it's going to work out.
I should have yelled at it in Cyrillic.
Yeah, you gotta dump vodka on that thing and beat it up a little bit.
Yeah, that's the problem. I was trying to whisper sweet nothings, and it doesn't respond to that.
Yeah, no, it's not an American or even a Canadian woman. It's Russian.
Yeah, you're making valid points here. So, well,
so
what do you got going
don't
on,
do
Maxwell?
new things on the clock. That's a valid thing. I do that from time to time as well, because let's face it, I'm a glutton for punishment. But we've been shooting some matches, so pull the target, call the range master. This is on the perf. Let's get into it. So this weekend, we're recording this post first weekend of May. Riser and I both shot matches over the weekend. Riser probably shot a more interesting match than I. Well, that's not fair. I'm sorry, Timmy. But Riser shot a 3-gun match, and all other matches are subpar compared to 3-gun matches. So we're gonna lead off with the 3-gun match. Riser, break it down. Where were you? What did you do?
Well, as you can tell from all the coughing, I still have not quite cleared up my last trip to the Carolinas.
Yeah, you went back to Carolina.
I went back to Carolina. I'm back at a slightly nicer hotel than I was last time. Not on my deathbed this time, which I'm very excited about. I was healthy enough to walk the prize table. So we shot the Tarheel 3-gun championship, and chaos ensued. So I'm going to start with the story because it's fresh in my mind of me driving from the match to the hotel.
Riser is hot.
So I am hot. Yeah. As the dude has said, new shit has come to light. So driving back, about a 2-hour drive, trying to get back so me and Maxwell can lay one down. This one's going to be super fresh because we don't have one queued up for Tuesday. So we're doing this for you, ladies and gentlemen. It is currently 10 o'clock, and I've been up since 5:30. And so I'm driving back, and I'm like, hey, I'm not going to have time to stop and eat a real dinner anywhere. I need to grab some quick fast food. So I put in the good old ad stop. I find some burgers. I pull off the highway. I get some burgers. I hop back in the car.
What kind of burgers?
Five Guys. Five Guys is my go-to burgers.
Interesting.
So I got a Parasite in Peru in 2006, and if I go much more lowbrow than that, I am almost guaranteed to spend like a good chunk of time in the bathroom afterwards. I have a very picky stomach as a result of mountain parasites.
Dude, that stretch of highway is like the Russian roulette of fast food. Like, you never really know.
Yeah.
When you pull the trigger on one, you never know if it's just going to blow your head off or not.
Yeah. So Five Guys has always treated me well. So that's been my go-to. So I pull into the Five Guys, I eat, I leave, and it's one of those spots where it's like 4 lanes going each way with a turn lane in the middle. It's looking like I'm not going to be able to cut across all lanes of traffic, so I turn right instead of left, cut across 4 lanes, pull into the turn lane, wait for the traffic to clear, pull a Yui. So I'm in the rental car, Toyota Corolla this time, a little bit better than the thing I had last time, but still The sons of bitches gave me a sedan. I clicked specifically on the picture with a hatchback. It turns out I'm not an experienced enough traveler to know that Kia Soul or similar does not mean hatchback. It means a car the size of a Kia Soul. I picked that specifically because it was a hatchback. I don't know, man. I'm learning. I'm new at this thing. See, this is why I need somebody like you to show me the way. So I ended up in a sedan again. Marginally better sedan. So, anyways, and you're about to see why I hate this car. So I go to flip my Yui. I flip around. Car starts making noise. This isn't new. This car makes all kinds of noise. Everything you do makes a super annoying sound. Also, when you're driving it out around on the range and you're not buckled up because you're driving 5 miles an hour, through that place, it just makes noises all the time, no matter what you're doing. So it starts making a new noise, and I'm like, what in the shit is going on now? And I look down, and it doesn't have it has a little logo, and then it has like a thing printed out. Like, you got to read the thing, which is not a thing that you want. So I look down and read the thing, and it's like, trunk is open. And I'm like, how the fuck is my trunk open? So I look in the center rearview mirror, and I can see the trunk coming up.
No.
And I'm like, oh God. And I look in my side rearview mirror, and I see my new Eberly stock range bag cartwheeling down the road.
No.
And I just go into full panic mode. So at this point, I'm like a half a block away from it. There's cars coming, and I'm
there guns
shit.
In the bag?
There's guns in the back. There's guns everywhere.
No,
I mean, this is post 3-gun match. There was just an explosion of guns in this car. And and I am just like, Jesus, what am I going to do? And so I'm like, okay, I can either slam on the brakes right now in the middle of the road and just like run back into traffic, which in retrospect would have been the right move. Or I can take the right into this parking lot here, take another right, straight Tokyo Drift style, rip through this parking lot at 80, slam on the brakes and hop out and run out into traffic and get this thing. That's what I chose to do. So I take a right, I pull into this parking lot, I'm ripping through this parking lot. As I'm ripping through this parking lot, I realize it is an abandoned shopping center, like a Kmart that's closed down or something. And there's just like
Heroin Express.
There's just like 40 dudes just hanging out in this parking lot.
Oh,
and
no.
So the town that I stopped in, I don't know if this town has a nice side, but I wasn't in it. And so I go ripping through this parking lot at like 80 miles an hour, obviously getting the attention of everybody around, and just lock up the brakes, slide it up into the curb. And now I'm in like,
are you strapped?
Super, super fast decision-making mode because I have an open trunk that's full of guns, and then my bag's up on the top, also full of guns, and I have guns everywhere. And like, I'm in a bad place. And I look up like this parking lot, the way that it turned around.
On top of the car?
No. So on top, the actual road was higher than the parking lot.
Oh,
so I couldn't physically. There was like a grass berm thing, and so I look behind me and I see a bunch of people just walking towards the car, like what the fuck? And then I look up and I see a person running down the road. I just see his head, and I'm just like, shit, that dude's going for my bag. Like, I better deal with this first. So we are in like panic mode decision-making process here. So I jump out and I go running up the hill, and I see the dude like pick up my bag, and I'm just like, okay, some stuff's about to go down. And he just like does a 360 looking around, spots me, sticks up his arms and waves them and yells, "I got your bag," and starts running straight at me. And I'm like, sweet, he's on my side. Like, problem one solved. Like, we're gonna get out of this
one.
I don't have to shoot this guy. So he runs over to me. He's like, "Oh, dude, I saw it fall out." I was like, "Oh no, the guy's gonna drive away. I saw you heading out, and then I saw you turn right, and I was like, oh my god, I'm gonna go get it for him." So he pulls it out of traffic, dude. Hats off to Eberly stock. That thing doesn't look like it saw the pavement at all. And I wasn't going slow.
Dude, that's a nice bag.
It's a nice bag. And so then I grab the bag. I'm like, "Oh, dude, thank you so much." Like, throw him a big old bear hug. I'm like, "You're the man." High five. Turn around, look down at the car. There's like 20 dudes standing around this car. Driver's doors open, trunks open, guns everywhere. It's like, shit. So I just go walking down, nice and casual. Everyone's just looking into the trunk. And one of the
How
dudes
close are
there,
they?
3 feet.
Okay, they're right there.
They're right there. They are looking down at like a 50-degree angle at the trunk that's full of guns.
All right.
And the guy goes, "What are you doing with all these guns?" And I just went, "I was at a shooting competition." And he turns, he looks at me, he goes, "How'd you do?" And I looked him dead in the eyes and I went, "I won." And I shut the trunk, and son, I had it on me, but there was
enough
more
bullets in that thing.
There was more of them than I had bullets, and I was like, I do not want this to go down like this at all. And so I just shut the trunk, made eye contact, walked to the driver's door, got in, and drove away. I was like, holy shit, all of that just happened. So I figured out, after I drove down the road a couple miles and figured out I wasn't getting tailed by anybody, I pulled off, and I figured out what had happened was, so the bottom of that Eberly stock case is like plastic, so it's super durable, so you can drag it around on the ground and everything, it doesn't get beat up. I had it on top of my rifle case, which is also plastic, so it's kind of like sliding around, and it caught the emergency release inside the trunk and just popped it. And that's why the trunk opened. So that was like 45 minutes ago in my world.
You're still a little jacked.
Yes, I am just dripping with adrenaline right now. So,
well, let me help you out, buddy. Next time you reserve a car, on the left-hand side in the column, there's a bunch of boxes. You want to click the one that says SUV.
I'm aware of that. I'm working my way up through the cars like $10 a day at a time.
Oh, all right. You'll get there when it's time.
I'll get there when it's time. So, yeah. So the Toyota Corolla, big thumbs down. Although when I got into it, had some pickup, man. I was like 4 wheels screeching through the parking lot. Like it got me back to where I needed to be, quick, fast, and in a hurry. And so when I drove out of there, I drove out the other way so I could re-drive over the spot where I dropped the bag to confirm that I didn't lose anything else. Not really thinking about the fact that I had
Saturday night specials or
yeah, nothing like that. So I just did full inventory in the hotel room here. I lost nothing, so I'm so happy.
I can't top that. But just to come down off that story a little bit, the last time you and I saw each other, and I had a rental car. When I returned that rental car, I mean, I've rented hundreds of rental cars at this point, probably. All right, never really had an issue, except the one which, if we get enough followers, maybe sometime I'll tell you the story of how I drowned a minivan. But for the most part, no. Nothing ventured, nothing gained. Like I haven't had any exciting stories with rental car companies. You get there, you check it out, you drive it, you return it. And so I'm doing the same at the Salt Lake Airport, and the chick does the Exorcist kind of head turn while she's looking at the car, and I'm like,
never a good sign.
I'm like, oh, that's not good, and I just like, the vision is based on movement. They can't see you if you don't move. So, like, I just keep doing my thing. And she's like, oh, did you? And she brings me around to the passenger side of the car. And there's like a trim piece along the window, like a plastic trim piece that popped up. And she's like, was that like that when you did it? I'm like, I don't know, which is the truth. I don't know. And then there was another trim piece along the windshield, like a black, really cheap plastic trim piece that has somehow gone. And my chick actually later told me she had noticed that and didn't tell me, but like it was too late. I already had it checked out, right? Whatever. And so she's like, "Was it like that when you got it?" And I'm like, "No, I don't know." And she's like, "Do you have a picture?" "No, I don't." And so I think this one was new, so she had to like get somebody else to actually like file the report, and that person came over And we're glad that person came over. She's like, oh, so it was like this, or you don't have a picture, she said. And I'm like, no. And she's like, okay. Do you maybe want to like take a picture of it now?
That's the one you want.
And I'm like, what? And she's like, why don't you take a picture of it so I can take a picture of your phone and I can put in my report that you took a picture of it. And I'm like, oh, yes.
That's the one.
I knew I had it in here. And I think it all worked out. They haven't called me yet, but, statute of limitations on rental cars is a long time. But I would shout them out, but I also in the past have sworn I wouldn't use this rental car company again. So we're right there in the middle where I'm gonna shout this chick out, but I'm not actually gonna say what company she works for, especially because she might get in trouble for.
She might get in trouble for this. Yeah, exactly.
But anyway, so that is post match.
Yeah. So back to the start of the match.
Yeah.
So drive out to the match there. So first of all, I got approached by no less than 20 people at this match that I've never met before that said, thanks for doing the show. It's awesome. All the things you want to hear. Like
shout out to all of those you people. Guys.
Yes, that was so awesome. It gave me the stoke to get in the car post match and drive 2 hours to Charlotte and get in the hotel room and
almost
lay one down.
Almost lay down some involuntary manslaughter.
Exactly. And almost lay down something else. So yeah, it was quite awesome. But the best was I ran into this one dude. I'm sorry, man, I cannot remember your name, or I would shout you out for sure. But so walking up from one of the stages, and he's like, oh, he just sees my name and he's like, are you Adam Reiser? I'm like, yep. And he's like, oh man, I listen to the show all the time. It's super awesome. He's like, for real, dude, you got me through like a 20-hour drive. I just like binge listened to the whole thing, like across the country.
Oh,
and I was like, holy shit, dude. And he goes, and also, man, like, you were not kidding. You were small as shit. I was like, you are my new best friend. Like, we're gonna get along great.
Yeah, Reiser really is fun size, and I really am super size. All right, that's just how it is.
Yeah, so it was fantastic. So anyways, yeah, so we shoot the stage. So this is like quick breakdown of my match. So this match was definitely a match where you talk like matches that are won and lost in the long range. This match was that. All you had to do was
pause.
Okay.
2-day, 3-day.
2-day, 8 stages.
8 stages. AM, PM, or on off?
Ghost squads all day. 2 stages, then lunch, then 2 stages. Off the range by 4:30.
Okay, so 2-day, 8 stages on off schedule. Continue.
Yep. So lot of long range. Oh, also it should be mentioned, this is the last Tarheel 3-gun championship.
Yeah, what's that about?
Donnie's just done. He talked about it a little bit at awards, and he's like, hey man, I've been doing this for a long time. I got to leave the family for 10 days to come up here and do this. It's a long drive, a lot of time away from the fam. He's just done with it. And, I can respect that. That's fine.
Yeah.
And, yeah, so the only, there was a couple pieces of weirdness. You weren't allowed to be on the range before 1 the day before the range, and you had to be off the range by, I think you had to be off the range technically by 6, but there was torrential downpour at 4. So almost nobody got all their stage walking done because some of the stages were quite complicated. I actually tried to go walk one of the stages in the downpour because I was like, hey, I'm going to go out there and get wet, but I'll have all the information. Literally left the car, walked to where the start line was so wet that I might as well have just jumped in the lake, and I literally couldn't see the targets. It was raining so hard. And I was like, well, that was a waste of time. And just got back in the...
That is common at this range. This is the Clinton House in South Carolina. The first time I went to Clinton House, I was working a 3-gun nation match. I went out to see where my stage was, and they had not done nearly as much dirt work as they have done now. I I legit almost had to spend the night out there because I almost got my rental car stuck, and I don't think anyone would have come looking for me.
Yeah, I definitely was giving her some whiskey throttle to get it out after walking that one. So but anyway, so this was definitely a match where like this was won and lost in the long range, 100%. So I step up to the first stage on a squad together. Me and Daniel Leak, not Donnell for all of you guys who hang out with our guy. It is Daniel, and if you don't remember how to say it, it's like Don.
Wait,
y'all.
So this is the same guy, or we have two of these and they pronounce their name differently?
This is the same guy.
Yeah, this is the guy from Vegas.
Yes.
Okay.
So, yeah.
I'm sorry, Donnie.
Yeah. So, call him Donnie. He's pretty cool with whatever. But if you wanna put some respect on the man's name, which you should, it's Don y'all, like Don from the South, Daniel. Anyways, so I was on a stage with Daniel, James Gill, and some other pretty darn good shooters, including Chuckalo. So there were some heavy hitters on my squad. I'm pretty late in the order. And so Daniel steps up on the first stage, shoots some shotgun, shoots some pistol. By the way, dueling trees do not belong in major matches. They should never be in major matches. I shot all 6 plates on the way up. 4 of them went. Then I shot 2 of them. Again, 1 of them went. Then as I dumped the pistol, being like, well, I just shot that thing twice, yelled, am I good? And the RO went, no, it has to go all the way. And I yelled out, that's why dueling trees shouldn't be in matches. That's how long it took me to get back to the pistol. Pulled it out, shot it again, and put it away, and then climbed into the tower and just got murdered on the tower. So in this match, a lot of shooting past 200 yards. The farthest poke was 620. It's quite a few over 5. The 300-yard shots were mostly A-zone steel targets. Lot of hard shooting in this match. I never run a rear bag on my rifle. I ran it on 4 stages in this match. Like 100%. This was a PRS match with a bunch of other shooting in the woods.
I'm definitely glad I went to Timmy's match.
Yep. So, so I climb into this tower and I just get murdered. So Daniel lays down a savage run because he's super good.
Was he shooting 6 arc?
He's not shooting 6 arc. No.
Daniel, I see you out there. I'm not mad. I am disappointed.
Did he start the 6 arc talk?
No, but he was carrying on pretty heavy. He asked me a lot of questions.
Okay. No, he's not shooting 6 arc. So Daniel lays down, savage run. James Gill rolls up, just gets wrecked. Turns out, he finds out that he had a batch of ammo that he got, re-chronoed it. It chronoed instead of 27 whatever, it chronoed at 24 whatever.
Who was that?
So, James Gill.
That happened to James?
That happened to James.
Oh, man.
And so he actually knew this going in, but he forgot. And so he's running his regular holds, and they just, like, don't line up. And so James rolls up, just gets body bagged. And I roll up and just get, like, just as body bagged. Like, I get through all the targets, but just. And I'm just like, what is going on here? Like, I know how to shoot the rifle. This is usually where I close ground on people. If anything, I don't lose ground. I'm not putting down 60% stages on the long range. That's not how I roll. I just don't understand. I crawl out of the tower. I walk down. I'm just like, man, what is going on? You know, I had confirmed 0, just like a quick, like they had some 300-yard steel out there. I held my 3 hash on it, hit it. Everything worked great. It was going good. So I'm like, I don't know what's going on here. So I walk back to the car just being like, man, the position was pretty good. I don't know. Maybe it was this. And then as I get back to the car, I look down top of my range bag, and there's a mag there with a big blue rubber band around it. And I'm like, that mag's in a super conspicuous spot. I'm like, wait, wasn't the blue mag the mag that I was supposed to shoot on the first stage? and I reached in my pocket and I got a little card that I don't want to talk about. And that's kind of like cliff notes for stages for the next day. And it's like stage 1 blue mag. I'm like, well, if the blue mag is there, what did I shoot it with? So I shot the long range with the 55 grain burner stuff. Like,
Einhorn is Finkel.
Yes,
Finkel
long
is
range
Einhorn.
to long range to 520 yards with the 55 grain burner. So anyways, so basically like threw away 40 points to start the match. And so me and James both pissed away like 40 to 50 points just to start, right? We go to the next stage. Me and James put down pretty good runs. Daniel forgets to shoot at the 4 long range targets.
Donnie.
Like puts down just a barn burner of a run, forgets to shoot at those. So now we're 2 stages in. All 3 of us have shit the bed once. We're basically tied. So we're like, well, back to 0.
All right, we're starting over.
Let's restart this one. So anyways, so we went on from there. So it was kind of a big eye opener. It's like all 3 of like the quote unquote really good, open shooters on the squad just got murdered in the first 2 stages. And we're like, okay, everybody, let's get our shit back together here. So we shot the rest of it. Everybody did pretty good, some ups, some downs. We did get rained on very torrentially on one stage. We kind of got the best stage to get rained on. It was a jungle run with shotgun. And so I did like a bunch of slip sliding with the shotgun. I started off like, oh, we're going to shoot this on the move here. We're going to shoot there. And within the first 2 positions very quickly turned into like, nope, we are going to shoot these. Then we're going to carefully plod through the mud to the next position and not fall down and get DQ'd. Then we're going to shoot those. But, some people were on the long range. Some people had targets literally blow away in the middle of the stage while they were shooting them. So, everybody got murdered somewhere. We kind of got the least of it, I think. Kind of hard to say. So we get through day 1. We go back. We dry off. Oh, the best part, the shotgun stage. So
Shotgun stage is always the best part.
Shotgun stage is always the best part. So we're going through the shotgun stage. At this point, it's the last stage of the day. We're all getting rained on. We're all just completely out of fucks. Everybody's just like, kind of punch drunk. And we're just cracking jokes. Like it is like talking shit to the person while they're making ready level. Just nobody cares anymore.
And this is prior to you noob tubing your fully loaded Barney big stick.
Yeah, that was the beginning of day 2.
Oh, that's not this one.
That's not this one. So, anyways, so one of the guys in the squad is shooting a VR80, and every stage
VR maybe.
He's had a very good malfunction, and so this was. I promised him that I would say this on the podcast. So he shoots the VR80. He has another malfunction. He clears it, has another one, clears it, leaves the position, goes. Homeboy that I'm standing next to goes, Sex Panther. And I was like, what? And he goes, Sex Panther. 40% of the time, it works every time. And I'm like, yes. So henceforth, I declare the VR80 is now known as the Sex Panther. Oh my God. Please tell me you actually have seen that movie and understand that reference.
I do understand that reference.
Awesome.
Yeah, we call it the VR maybe around here.
Yep. That sounds about right. So, yep. So anyways, yeah, so shot that stuff. Some ups and downs. And then today, so there was one stage. So the only stage in the match that I didn't like, I loved 7 out of the 8 stages. And there was one stage, you know me, I don't like super, not even gimmicky stuff. I can deal with gimmicky stuff. What I don't like in matches is where a single mistake can cost you like 40 or 50 points. Right? Like this stuff needs to be scalable. So it was that weird stage, the one from my Jerry of the day, where it was 3 boxes. And if you like did it perfect, then like you'd survive, you'd go through, you'd run over to the other bay, you'd shoot all this stuff. It was just fine.
Where on the property was this stage?
So this was the last bay. So there's a big line of bays.
Yep.
Where all the, last bay is you're staring at the bays to the left. So it was the last bay and the second to last bay.
Oh, and they're kind of big bays?
They're kind of big bays. So
Okay.
just
Yep.
imagine one of those bays has some hosey rifle and a plate rack in it,
Yep.
and then the other bay, the one you start in, has like 40 rounds of shotgun, including a double Texas Star with no shoots on it, and a popper at 25 paces, which requires you to shoot a pretty darn tight choke to be able to knock over all the targets. So, and I think if you shot the entire thing with 0 misses, you could shoot it in 2 boxes in open division. The tube gun guys got hosed. This was terrible for them. But you're only allowed to do a reload while running from one box to another. So you had to change boxes. And then the dump box was in the middle. So if you shot the right box, then the left box, you got everything clean, you dumped your shotgun and you left, no harm, no foul, you're out of there, all's good with the world. So you could either shoot 1 for 1 or you could shoot a couple doubles and then have room for a couple misses. If you missed enough, you had to go to the third box, do another reload, shoot that, then run back to the second box, then dump your gun. So instantly added, I counted it off like running over there, pantomiming the stuff, instantly added 10 seconds to your time on a 60-second stage. So one of those things where it's like, even if you execute it perfectly, it's going to cost you like 20%, right? And so I just have never been a fan of those kind of things. I'm like, well, like the rest of the scoring was just right. It was like 2.5-second misses. The long range was 15-second misses. Like nothing super punitive, allowed you to shoot really aggressively. It was just that one stage where I was like, what in the hell? So we get through all that. I survive it. There was like a 270-degree shoot house that no video people were allowed in because you were shooting almost backwards at some points. And did well there, did well in the next one, went up the hill. And then there was a seated boat like on the shore, but it was just clapped. So every time you moved around, everything would move. So it was one of those positions where you're like, oh, this is going to be super stable. And it just super wasn't. And pretty much everybody got kind of murdered there. And then the last stage, I got short guide. So shotgun jungle run, you come out into a field, full pistol bay, awesome stage. I loved this stage. Like 2 mags worth of shotgun with flying clays and a slug in the woods, come out into an opening, full bay of awesome pistol stuff. I got 2 barrel strikes and I got a couple misses as a bummer, but not the stage's fault. And then a little bit of rifle on the move. At this point, I was so cooked that I was like, yeah, I'm going to pick up the rifle. I'm going to shoot those 2 headshots. I'm going to shoot those 3 pieces of paper on the run. And I pulled the rifle out of the dump box. I'm like, or I could just shoot everything from here because I'm exhausted. And then run up to a Suburban and you shoot off the hood. I wasn't tall enough to just shoot off the hood of the Suburban. Like big Suburban, suspension job, tires, whatever, had to go off the hood. So me and gosh darn it, what is her name? James's girlfriend.
Oh, yes. Oh.
Yeah.
I'm so sorry.
Tina Garcia.
Got it.
There we go. Team effort here, you guys. So me and her couldn't shoot off the hood.
How too short are you? Like
I was barely
like
too
you-
short. She
like
she
you
was all but
needed-
too short.
So like you were like almost there, just couldn't see through your scope, or it was like your stock hit your forehead if you were in the right spot.
So when I looked, I would look under the scope. So I actually ran back to the car because we all kind of like got our sight pictures during the walkthrough and then just left our rifles there, which was a really smart way to run this. I went full sprint back to the car, came back with a wrench and a couple things, took off my Picatinny rail, put on a swivel stud, took off the quick release from my Harris bipod and put it back on the swivel stud to take a half an inch out of the height, and then looked through it and I was like, nope, still not enough. So then I just crawled up onto the hood and was like, okay, this will work. Now I made a mistake. I didn't account for the fact that the hood rolls over and it's higher in the middle than it is in the bottom. So when I shot this stage, I crawled up on top of the hood. Now I have a mag in the gun. And when I brought it down to the target, the bipod left the hood and the mag was now touching. And on this stage, the long poke was 620 yards. And I'm like, I cannot shoot this stage like this. So I slid back off the hood. I have it on video and I counted it. 12 seconds of dicking around on this thing. Slid back off the hood and went full tippy toes to be able to look through the scope, and then shot the long range like that. And
back to the not easy long range.
Back to the not easy long range. And I could have slid, is old Suburban, it's a pretty flat hood, so I could have slid toward the bumper and cut an inch or two out of that. But a couple of the targets you could only see all the way towards the top of the hood by the windshield. So was not an option for most of it, and just wasn't going to go down. So anyways, in the end, it was a super fun match. It was definitely heavier. As a person who really likes long range shooting, I think the long range was too much of a decider, as we've talked about in the past here. Like, you just had to physically survive the other two guns, and if you just shot the long range well, like, you were gonna win. So Rich Franco took home the W in open division. I got second place at 99 point, a whole bunch of percent to Rich, 5 points off. I was real bummed. James Gill, or not James, Daniel, despite not shooting at 4 of the long range targets, got third place, made the box. My man. Just eking out our boy James. And Chuck Lowe, who is on a tear, he got fifth in open division at Battle for the South. He took home the W in modified. And Brady Lawling, who I have not seen since I shot on his team at Generation 3 gun during the shoot-off years ago, eked out his little brother to win TAC Ops division. And he is, I would say, despite his age, I would call him a cranky old man, because he is hardcore lamenting the downfall of TAC Ops, and it does not want to move to modified. And I understand. He shot TAC Ops for a long time and done quite well there. But Brady, just put some dots on stuff, man. You're going to be fine. You're going to be fine. You're a good shooter. You're going to crush people. It'll be all right. And since we do have now a podcast and we can shout out sponsors, pulled myself a Keltec Sub 2000 off the prize table. The second super weird Keltec gun that I have pulled in the last 12 months. So thank you guys for sponsoring the match. I super appreciate it. And you guys make super weird shit, but it's just weird enough that I actually want to keep it. So that's a good sign. That's a good sign, I think. So do you have any questions about this crazy match, Mr. Maxwell?
So let's see. What was the bay situation? Was this all in the terrain, or there's that one bay to bay stage. What were the other bay stages like?
So there were 2 bay to bay stages. There are 4 bays that were used, but for 2 stages. So the other bay to bay was a pretty fun pistol, like what would be an awesome USPSA stage in one bay, and then you ran around the corner, and then it was like 4 pretty small plates at like 50 or 60 yards with a rifle, and then you ran into a shoot house just going full send in like a 270 degree bay, where it was like you and the RO go in and like nobody else around, because there's going to be bullets just coming out of everywhere. So a lot of like running past a window, leaning out of the window and shooting back, like that kind of stuff. Like it was,
okay.
It made all of my 180 my 180 vibes tingle real hard. Being like, none of this is okay.
That means it's working.
Yeah, exactly.
But how many people were there?
All the rest were natural terrain. Excuse me. Not a ton. Full what was it? 4 squads, and I think there were like 20 on a squad or something like that. So I think it was like 80 people. Plus some ROs, something like that. So they did a ghost squad thing. So when they were doing walkthrough, there were a couple bays that were let's just say snug with each other, or a couple stages that were snug with each other. So when you were walking stage 4, for example, if you were air gunning to the left, there were people walking stage 3 directly behind you, 50 yards through the woods, and you were air gunning a pistol. And while we're doing that, we're like, well, this is spicy. But then the way that it actually worked is they had the same ROs working 1 and 2, the same ROs working 3 and 4. So you'd shoot 3, the whole squad and the ROs would all move to 4. So then nobody was on 3, and then you shoot 4. So the way they did it actually like worked out quite well. But we didn't know that going in, and I was like, man, I don't know that I want to shoot stage 3. but then when it all came together, it's like, okay, all this actually makes sense.
How did you feel?
Man,
oh, go ahead.
Oh, I was gonna say this was a stage where you needed some like grandmaster rangefinder skills to get accurate ranges on targets. A lot of stuff kind of tucked back in the trees, really hard. Like on one of the stages, I walked 500 yards to the far target and ranged the truck that we were shooting it from to make sure I got an accurate range.
What?
Like, spicy, because we could, like, all of us, there's like 5 of us all ranging a thing, and we all got something different by like 40 yards, and that's a lot at 500 yards of the 223. So I just walked all the way to the target, turned around, and ranged the truck.
What did it end up being?
520.
Oh, well, so was it because the target was kind of silhouetted on a hill?
No, it was deep in the woods. And there were, like,
so
branches in front, branches behind. Yeah, you're just hitting all kinds of stuff. So, yeah, it was really hard to see. It wasn't like there was a backstop where you're like, oh, I'm ranging the target and it's 520, and then I range the backstop and it's 540, and there's like an obvious like, yeah, it was super hard ranging. But that is the secret trick. If you're on walkthrough day and you just cannot get a range, just walk to the target and range backwards, because you're usually shooting at it from something quite large.
How did you feel about the round count?
Just right.
Just right?
In
a world of light, adequate, or excessive, you're adequate?
Adequate. Yep. It was definitely not excessive. It certainly wasn't light. I flew with just the right amount. And I always forget that you need to at least triple the slug count, because
don't trust anybody on slug
you're
counts.
always burning a bunch out, right? So like every slug is basically 3 slugs, and that's if everything's going good, right?
Yeah.
So I was a little tight on slugs, but I did make it. And since I shot my burner stuff on the first long range stage, I sure didn't run out of long range ammo, so that's nice. But yeah, I would say like good size stages, you know, the stage times, several stage times that creeped into the hundreds. So like, you know, nice, good stages, breathing hard at the end. If you laid down sub 70s on most of them, like you were winning that stage probably by a lot. And then a few of them, I think there were winning stage times that were in the 100 seconds.
Okay, so now we've established this is not an option because Donnie says he's not doing the match again. But would you go again if this match was on the schedule for next year? Is this must attend, or pretty good if you have time, or no, I'll probably do something else?
I would say pretty good if you have time. If you got a gap in your schedule, I think it's worth it. I think the things that it's missing is, I think, just competition. Like, you know me, I want DP'd at everything. Like, I want every match to be nationals, right? So I should not have placed second with the match that I shot. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah,
yep. So that's kind of like my only,
which is unusual because Carolina is a hotbed of three gun talent. So there, a lot of people can show up for sure.
Yep. Yeah, and it was a little bit tricky. Like looking at scores from day one, I was like, wow, there are some people here. And then, you know, it's always so hard to tell though, because they're shooting different stages and everything else, and so it's always a tricky thing. So yeah, so there was a moment where it's like, oh man, we might all be getting crushed, and then on the end of day two, it's like, nope, we're all gonna be fine.
Right on. Man, it's really hard to top that driving story.
That's why I was so excited to start with that. I was like, this is super fresh in my mind. We actually, so for all the listeners out there, we have skipped several pre-planned episodes to lay this one down just because of this driving story, because I wanted to do it when it's fresh in my mind. And but Amax and I taught a class together. I shot an NRL hunter match with a buddy of mine, which was also quite wild. Maxwell has an update on some world shoot stuff. So we have all kinds of stuff coming down the pipipeline. And I think we're going to record several episodes next week. So, we got a lot of stuff in the docket.
And those can all wait to hear about Riser's potential homicide story.
Almost having a shootout in the OK Corral, or the Kmart Corral, as it were. And, oh, man, I just lost my train of thought. Oh, yeah, and also I got, I think, 6 new podcast topics from people at the range who rolled up. And said like, hey man, I got a podcast idea. I'm like, dude, just pull out the phone and started making notes. I'm like, lay it on me. So we got quite a few new ones queued up for people. So thanks for that, you guys. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, we are really stoked to hear people listening to the show. I had a couple of people come up and talk to me as well. It's just great. It's still new, so it's we're not used to it yet. When people come up and tell us they like our show, like, oh yeah, I do a show. That's right. But yeah, thanks so much for coming up and talking to us. And if you have a good idea, not all ideas are good, but if you have a good idea, we are writing them down and we will probably get to it eventually. But we're not going to fart out 5 podcasts in 1 week, because that's just not how this works.
Yeah. I did have one guy came up to me. He's like, hey man, I'm the guy that asked the question about practice on your YouTube channel. And I felt kind of bad because I didn't blow him off, but I gave him, I don't know. I actually thought I did an all right job, but he asked the question, how do you practice for 3-gun? And I'm like, dude, that's way too broad. Like this is like, how do airplanes work? And so I was like, this is too broad of a question, but listen to this episode, and this episode, and then ask some follow-ups. Cause and then he did ask, on the spot, a actually, quite pointed, very good question, which we will answer in a podcast. So,
nice.
Yeah.
Well, my review of the weekend is not nearly as long. I shot a pistol match. As much as I love shooting pistol matches, I don't find them very fun to talk about. So, like, a pistol stage is a pistol stage, pretty much. But it was Timmy's.
I did hear that Tanfo Timmy put on an awesome match, though.
Timmy, I would say, Timmy is a world-class stage designer. He's a grandmaster pistol shooter in his own right, and he's a really good stage designer. So those two things don't come together very often, and when they do, kind of look out. So his concept for this match comes out of a little controversy in that area, but essentially Timmy took his ball and went home and put on his own match, and so he's kind of started doing this match as a concept match, and it's 1 day, so it's a 1-day format. He runs it in 2 consecutive days, so you can shoot it Saturday, which I did, or Sunday. Exact same stages, exact same schedule. And so you only shoot 1 day, so it's 10 stages in 1 day, or in this case 11. So all the way through, and then he essentially takes the match fee that you put in, and I think he takes $50 of every entry, and he puts it into the cash purse of whatever division you enter.
Ooh.
So everyone that signs up for Carry Optics essentially puts $50 in the Carry Optics pot, and everyone who signs up for Limited Optics, it's $50 in the Limited Optics pot. And so the bigger divisions, I think in Limited Optics, which is where I was shooting, in Limited Optics, the first prize was $1,200.
Nice.
And then they distribute the purse. They distribute it. It's, I believe, because we use the similar model for multi-gun nationals. They take 40% of the purse, and that goes to first place. And then of what's left, 40% of that goes to second place. Of what's left, 40% of that third, and they continue to distribute it until it's gone, essentially. And so the bigger divisions like carry optics, PCC, and limited optics, those got to be pretty big purses. Really, really small divisions like limited was only $100 to win, and there was only like 6 people in it. I won limited here last year. I forget what the payout was. I still have the big check, but it wasn't nothing. It was a few $100.
Wait. Back up. There's a big check. It's not just a pile of cash. You get a big check.
Yeah, no, this isn't Hunter Constantine. Like, yeah, they cut it out of the stuff they make political signs out of.
Dude, I've always wanted to win the big check, even if it has $100 on it.
I know, right?
Wanted the big check.
Yeah, exactly.
Man.
Yeah. So I won it last year, and I was debating. I was like, do I defend my title, but it's only $100, or it's like I can do pretty well in limited optics, and I'm kind of like, I'm probably the most tuned up on limited optics right now. So I went that way. Turns out I didn't place well enough in limited optics to get any of the cash. But I also, similar to the last time I talked about a match, I kind of rolled into this one on the back end. My spring work schedule is pretty intense. I accept I chose it all and I accept the consequences, but I'm on the back end of that. So I'm just exhausted, not entirely prepared, and just kind of
there's a reason that we're recording this. It's currently 10:45 at night and I'm in a hotel room because Amax has been unreachable for a week and a half, basically.
Yeah, I did 2 long drives that people probably wouldn't do on their own, and I took 2 overnight flights that people probably wouldn't do on their own, and I did that in the span of a week. So
get some sleep, buddy.
Yeah. to stand on a range in the rain and teach LPVO with 308s, which was an experience also. So not like super prepared. So I get there, like I roll in the night before. I like get there right when the gate opens in the morning, which I don't know why I waited that long because I have a card so I could get it anytime I want. But just worked out. I rolled up there about the time that the range opened. Got like the once over on all the stages. And when I say Timmy's a really good designer, it's like these stages are not like when you roll up to some club matches and you look at a pistol stage, you can look at it one time and be like, yep, got it. These ones, when you roll up to them, like there's enough targets, there's enough walls, there's enough angles where it's like, okay, you have to look, what is the round count? Make sure you find them all and make sure you're not like looking at the same one twice, or you like get to the end and, oh, where was the one? Oh, there's a little gap in here between the barrels, and that's just big enough for the one to fit, you know? So I had just enough time to look at them all, find all the targets, have some semblance and an idea of what I was going to do. And then we started shooting and shot all the way through. He does cater in lunch, which was good. And then at lunchtime, he also comes around with the random draw prize bag because the order of finish prize table is just the cash. So all the actual like product prizes that get donated to a match, he pulls ping pong balls for every squad, and people get random draw prizes, which is something. It's not my idea, but it's something that Vortex I think really pushed to kind of spread the prizes, because on the industry side of things, we want the products to get in the hands of a customer. Whereas winners aren't usually customers. You know, the winner of limited optics has already made an optic selection. So them winning an optic probably isn't going to change their mind. They're going to sell that thing, which isn't in and of itself bad, but we would rather someone who doesn't have an optic or, you know, is looking to upgrade them. Oh, sweet. And same thing, the more trinkety your thing is, the more they want it to get into the hands of somebody who's going to use it. So we really like the idea of spreading the smaller prizes random draw like that, and that's why it happens. But yeah, we started shooting straight away at 9 o'clock. We did 11 stages. We were done and off the range by like 4:30. So they moved pretty smooth.
That's pretty sweet.
Yeah, good mix of short, medium, and long courses. And I was feeling really good about how I did. I shot. They had a couple of rays with no shoot steel, so they had a red no shoot popper populated next to white poppers. And I rolled through one. I didn't think nothing of that no shoot popper. I was just bing 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 all the way across. But it went, instead of bing bing bing, it went bing bing bong, and it didn't fall over. I'm like, are you kidding me? No way. Like, I called a good shot on. No way I missed it. Sure enough, though, like 5 o'clock in the armpit of a mini popper, like it snuck through there and hit the no shoot popper. But like, to give you an idea, AJ showed up and AJ won limited optic. But he shot today, Sunday. Going into Sunday, everybody in the top 10 had at least 2 mics.
Wow.
Maybe 3 to 5.
Wow.
Okay, and then like a couple no shoots in there, you know, for those. But like, yeah, in the top 10, everybody had mics going into the last, and there were swingers. There were half hardcover swingers. There were swingers occluded by no shoots. There was a tricky bobber. Like, none of it in and of itself hard, but like challenging pistol shooting. Like every stage was there was no easy stage. The easiest stage was the single hand only, strong hand only stage, and an unloaded start to strong hand only is not in and of itself easy. So, but yeah, a good mix of interesting, challenging stuff. And then I also think it's interesting that Timmy's working up the idea of doing the cash purse payout, because I think as shooters we want to see more cash payouts, but the industry is not just going to cut checks for cash payouts. So it has to be a self-fulfilling kind of thing, and I really like this model, and that's why we use that at Multi-Gun Nationals too. So every entry for Multi-Gun Nationals, that goes into a cash purse for that division, and we pay it out at the end. So it's kind of something that our club up in Minnesota is starting to normalize, and I think it's pretty cool, and it draws some pretty big talent to a match that really would only kind of be the Minnesota state match. I mean, we had AJ Anthony show up, Max Legranda showed up, Mason Lane was there, probably a few others that I'm not thinking of off the top of my head, but like some serious talent shows up to it, in addition to the serious talent that is a resident of this area. So it's pretty cool. It's turning into a pretty hot match, and if you fancy a one-day pistol match, it's definitely worth putting on your schedule for next year.
That's super cool. I didn't know that Max came out to that too. That's awesome.
Yeah, Max did. Linda Turnbull, Lena Miklik. I'm not sure if.
Was there a lot of PCC people there getting
signed
up?
It sounded like the PCC crowd was showing up to practice, and probably they wanted a piece of that cash. But also, the rumor is that Max was also going to do IPSC walkthroughs, because he was like getting in super late. So he was like, you know what? I'm just gonna roll up 5 minutes, and that's what I'm doing. I'm like, well, that's an interesting strategy, but also he could probably pull that off. So
it's a bold strategy, Cotton. Did he?
That is a great question. I don't care about PCC just enough that I didn't even look at those stats, but I still got them fresh here.
Well, did he do IPSC walkthroughs?
I don't know because I was not on the range today.
Knowing Max, I would say if he said he was going to do IPSC walkthroughs, he probably did.
Not only did he win, he beat Tom Castro by 8%.
That sounds very Max. Yep.
Checks out. So Max, I assume T Castro is Tom Castro, J. Lease Williams, Lena Miklik, Andre Desatel, who is local, and then Jeremy Boone's down in there, Linda. I'm skipping over a bunch of local people, just looking for anyone else to see. But like of 24 people, I mean the top half of them are pretty serious PCC shooters going to the world. I mean,
I just gonna say you basically just read off the world shoot team. So
yeah. Yep. So the World Shoot team showed up to shoot this thing.
Yeah.
And I think they had their hands full. Like it was not a nothing match. Like there's tight angles and you really had to put some thought into it and you really had to lay it down. So
I mean, it sounds like it was actually a very good practice for the World Shoot then.
Yeah. And what I was kind of optimistic about in my state. So I finished 12th. In kind of up in the 80th percentile somewhere, which is about where I really hope to be. Like on the bottom end of where I hope to be. Like I get upset if I drop much lower than that. But like considering,
well, if Max put 8% into second place, then 80 is pretty good.
Yeah, and so I was sitting kind of top 10. Going into the second day, and I also kind of feel like a lot of people who expect to win the money shoot the second day. So I wasn't really sure how the scores were going to shake down, how they were going to get jostled up between those of us who had full scores and everybody else. And so the guy who was sitting on top, I'm sorry I don't know your first name, but Martello, I think he's local. But he was sitting at a hundo on the first day for limited optics. And then I saw AJ walking the range as I was finishing up. I'm like, oh, there goes the neighborhood. And but like how
wait, AJ shot LO?
Yeah.
Is he shooting on the World Shoot team?
I don't think so. Oh, he is, but he's shooting mini rifle. So he said I was talking to him and he was saying there's no 22 division, so he's like, might as well shoot low. And so
that makes sense.
So in my head, I'm like, okay, immediately Anthony is the favorite to win, but by how much? And I was actually kind of interested to see he only put 1% into second place.
Wow.
So
slacking, AJ.
Yeah, so he either had some issues or he did not have. He's the only one in that top 10 group that did not, I see it's changed now, but like of that top group, like he's the only one that didn't have a mic or a no shoot. Other guys had some blemishes on their scores, and still everybody kept it pretty close. I mean, it's 100, 98.97, 97.24, 96.11. Like, I get a little bummed out when the scores, like when somebody just puts 10% into everybody else. It's like, what are we even doing? But like when we can keep it close at the top, that gives me more energy. I mean, like everybody inside the top 15 really, is in the neighborhood. There's no slouches in there. Varick Bizey is sitting at 7th with a 93%, so some really good talent showed up, and it was a pretty good shakeout of who brought it on this day. So
nice.
Pretty stoked on this match. Like, if you're looking to add a pistol match to your schedule, I think it's worth traveling for. It certainly beats the Minnesota section match. Sorry, not sorry. And it's they do a really good job. It's it's kind of an up and coming match, but it's definitely worth putting on your calendar and seeing how it fits in your schedule next year if you're looking to add a PCC or a pistol match.
Well, I gotta say, in the grand scheme of pistol matches, this one sounds quite good. And the other thing is, if you're traveling to a pistol match and your trunk swings open while you're driving, you don't have to pick which gun you're going to go try to rescue. You can just go after the bag with the gun in it.
Yep.
So that is way nicer.
Yep.
So
Well,
it'll make travel easier.
Yeah, and this format, you can travel there and back, and you're not out 2 days off work.
Yep.
Minimum.
Yep, for sure.
You know?
Yeah, this is actually the third 2-day match I've shot this season, like traveling with flights, and I'm kind of into it. Like, just pack it all into 2 days. You don't need to take off as much work. It's kind of awesome.
Yeah, I go back and forth because there's the part of me that wants an extravaganza. Like, we haven't said it yet, so we want Iron Man. Okay, so
Drink.
But like, part of me wants 1,000 rounds per gun and like a big like amount of quest kind of thing. But also like from a viability of the sport and as from like a group of people that want to do a few of these. You know, we want to go to Carolina, we want to go to Texas, we want to go to Utah, we want to go to Idaho. It's certainly easier to squeeze more of them in if it's in this smaller format, as long as that format is dense. Like, I would pretty much turn my nose up at any other single day pistol match if I didn't personally know what I was getting when I got there. Like, I know what I'm getting when I go to Timmy's match, / it's quasi-local to me, / you know, like, I have family in the area. So it's, like, not a big deal for me to go to Minnesota, even though I drove 5 hours to get there. But, like, anywhere else in the country, I would kind of be like, I don't know if I'm going to go to a one-day match. But if an event promoter, like, really does a good job and executes a really great one-day match, they can be pretty sweet, and you can definitely squeeze more of them into your schedule on a limited resources. So,
yeah. Also, I was just thinking about the consequences of shipping 1,000 rounds with each gun, and so I shipped.
Yeah, you don't think about that.
Yeah,
don't.
Yeah,
you just send it. And you slap down the card and you let them take what they're going to take.
Yeah, just don't read it. So I shipped ammo out to this, and I have a Pelican case that was like an old camera case, but think of it as like a multi-pistol case for this world, and it very conveniently fit like all of my ammo exactly. And I was like, oh sweet, I'm gonna put it in this. It's gonna be 50 pounds. It's gonna have a handle. Like, you know, I'll have a nice little case to pack ammo around the range. After it delivered, they dinged me an extra $40 for shipping in a non-standard container. And so I like called them up to dispute it, and they're like, oh yeah, it sounds like you shipped it in something kind of weird. And I was like, I shipped it in a case with a handle on it because it was heavy. I was trying to be nice. And the guy on the phone goes, yeah, that seems pretty reasonable. He's like, I'll refund your money, but ship in a box, otherwise we're just going to keep doing this. And I was like, all right, cool.
UPS.
And then when I got there, I like zip tied the thing closed. Like, I just put a bunch of zip ties through the lock holes. All the zip ties were cut. So
what?
There's that. Yep.
Say it again.
All the zip ties. So I put a bunch of zip ties, like 5 aside, through the lock holes on the case, just in case crazy stuff happened. On the ammo case. And when I picked it up, all the zip ties were cut.
Oh my gosh.
Somebody was like, oh, this is a 50-pound Pelican case. I wonder what's in here. And when they cracked it, they're like, nope, it's just ammo. And then they close it up. So that's fun. Enjoy sending your stuff with UPS, boys and girls.
Well, on my way back from where I was, I had 1 2/3 cases of 308 ammo to bring back, and I figured I could get it in my luggage, but I would be close with like on weight as to what all the other things weigh to get under the airline weight, and so I figured out. I googled how much a box of 308 ammo weighs. I'm like, and it's about a pound. So, I like had it situated amongst my parcels, and I was picking them up to bring them to the airport. I'm like, oh man, these are kind of heavy, and so I test put one on the other scale in like a closed lane while she was waiting, doing the person in front of me, and my rifle case was like bang on, just at the right weight, like
nice.
Like amazing. Which is good because it's also packed extremely tight. Like I couldn't get anything more in there if I tried. And then, so we roll up there and we put the big case on there, and that one was 8 pounds over. And I was like, ah.
Oh no.
And of course, this lady feels really bad. She's like, oh, really? That sucks. And I just start getting out the card and laying it down. She's like, are you sure you don't want to try? And I'm like, yes, I'm sure. She's like, oh, that really sucks. Cause like, you got to get like 8 pounds out of there. And I'm like, yep. And there isn't anything that's 8 pounds in there that'll go through the x-ray machine.
Yeah.
And she's like, huh? I'm like, yeah, it all has to be in there. I appreciate it, but it's got to be this way. Because, like, even aside from the ammo, like, the other things in there that were heavy, like tools, like a Fix-It Sticks kit, they'll take that right at TSA. Like do not pass go, do not collect $200 for sure. Oh, yeah. So I'm like, yeah, there's nothing in there I can take out. But
I flopped my stuff on the scale flying out to this match, and I had done the classic, like, my bag weighed 58 pounds, and then or weighed 48 pounds. And then, first thing in the morning, I'm like, oh crap, I should bring some flip flops. I should bring some shorts because the hotel has a pool. I should, and it's like threw a couple extra things in there. Get to there, throw it on the scale. It's 52. I'm like, oh man. So I just like start to unzip it to like start pulling some stuff out and shove it in my carry on. And the girl just goes, oh honey, you're fine. I'm like, oh sweet.
Oh,
like,
hell yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. I was like, oh, we got the good one. Hell yeah, this is awesome.
I plunked that thing down and I was like, man, I should have shot some more demos on that dueling tree and just lightened this thing up a little bit more.
Dude, I stole my wife's little what is it? Sharper Image luggage scale sitting right next to me on the counter right now, packing stuff up to fly back. And actually, like, while walking the prize table, one of the reasons I pulled the certificate for the Kel-Tec was I was like, I need something that literally weighs nothing because I'm going to add some ammo and I'm already essentially overweight. So I need to like figure some stuff out. So if I have like a physical thing that has to go into this bag, we're definitely host.
It's funny you brought up the dueling tree thing though, because one of the random props the customers had at their range was a dueling tree, and we get to the end and we start playing a game, and it had gotten down to the part where I start playing because we're down to the last 2 guys and they're not eliminating each other. It's like, okay, we're gonna start shooting upside down. We're doing fun stuff. And so I'm like, all right, dueling tree, sudden death, here we go. But we're shooting a dueling tree at 100 yards with 308s. And when both dudes started shooting that thing, it just started rocking and rolling. Plates were flying all over the place. Those things suck so bad. Like, you're absolutely right. They should not be in matches.
No.
Exactly.
I'm gonna
ever.
Do some quick math here. 1, 2, 2, 5, 8. All right, we're gonna do some quick math and we're gonna find out because I'm quite curious about something. Prove. No. Open. Okay, good. I'm very happy about this. So the running back to reshoot the dueling tree was not the difference between first and second. I'm quite happy about that.
Yeah. So I guess that was how mine played out too, because I ended up 12th, and I'm like, all right, well, how did hitting that no shoot and those mics, how far did that drop me? And when I took all that out, it only got me up to like 10th, I think.
Yep.
9th or 10th.
It does get me within. It does get me within a point. So it was. I mean, I just added 5 seconds because I'm like, I think it took me about 5 seconds, but who the heck knows? Yeah. But yeah. So, but I think the moral of this entire thing is dueling trees don't belong in matches. Just don't.
Nope.
No, they never go well. There's always something. It's always a terrible idea. Dueling trees do not belong in matches. They just don't.
Texas stars are fine. Dueling trees, no.
Yeah. Yep. 100%. Well, I got nothing else, and it's now 11:10, and I have a full 3-gun gear explosion in this hotel room that needs to be packed up by morning. So I think I'm about ready.
Well, that being the case, y'all keep those overlay cards handy, everyone. This has been On the Perf, and as we've established, we got plenty in store for you next time. Be easy, everyone.
See you guys.